Welcome in, everybody, to BettingPros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. It's time to look ahead to any early value for Week 16. Week 15, there were a lot of one-sided games, and we were talking about how one-sided they would be. And actually, none of them really went sideways. I mean, that Colts one got close, but everybody who won was supposed to win for the most part in Week 15. But some big losers, certainly some of the injuries that we've had, how that's going to affect Week 16 lines. We're going to see it live in action right now with Andrew Erickson, the Undertaker himself. Andrew, that was the theme of last week too. Some major injuries. Mahomes out, Parsons out. These lines are really going to get impacted by some of these guys that are not going to be playing the rest of the season.
Yep. And we'll see what teams are they playing for, right? Again,
Right.
Teams are starting to get knocked out of the postseason. Now you can look at it in a couple different ways because we've seen plenty of times where one team has everything to play for, this other team has nothing to play for, and the team has nothing to play for mops the floor with the other team, because teams will play looser sometimes, and that makes them better. Some teams will play really, really tight. And the game that I'm really looking at and looking forward to kind of getting your early take is this Chiefs-Titans game, right?
Ooh.
The Titans have been one of the worst teams in the NFL, but Chiefs just got knocked out of the playoffs, just lost their starting quarterback, going on the road against a team that on paper is absolutely terrible. Is this a trap spot for the Kansas City Chiefs where it's like, Gardner Minshew, so I haven't actually looked at the line for that particular game yet. I'm interested to see what it is. And I think to your other point too about that Seahawks Colts game, that was the game that almost blew the 6-leg parlay. I had in the early window, all the favorites won. They all dominated. And I look up, I'm like, what is going on in Seattle right now? What is going on here?
It got real dark out there,
yes.
but that defense of the Colts just couldn't hold it. I felt bad because I was rooting for Phillip Rivers, and then they got the big field goal from 60 yards, and Phillip Rivers is pounding his fist. I'm like, look at this, look at the old man getting it done. Oh, it was good, but then eventually
it was a fun sweat, and ultimately came out on top with the 6-leg parlay. So it worked out.
A lot of good stories, man.
Yes.
A lot of good stories. Bills comeback on our Patriots. Credit to the Bills, man. I call them soft, and I still think that they have holes, but you know what? They went out there, and now everybody's won on each other's turf, so I can't wait for round 3 in the playoffs. But we got to start again with a game that has huge playoff implications and injury situations, too. It's Thursday Night Football. This is basically a playoff game, right? Because you have the Seattle Seahawks and the Rams, but probably no Devontae Adams. I mean, as of recording this Monday morning, I'd be shocked. In fact, no, I'm not going to say. He ain't playing Thursday night, okay? There's just no way he's playing Thursday night.
The hamstring injury looked pretty bad, especially on a short week.
If he plays it all the regular season, I'd be shocked, let alone this week. So let's talk about this line here. We have the Rams favored by 1 here on the road in Seattle plus 1.5, which I actually do agree with. I would still favor the Rams even without Devontae Adams. I do think they're the more complete team. Now, you take out a guy who's got a ton of touchdowns. That's hard. Colby Parkinson stepped up. You have Blake Corum step up the last few weeks. So other players are stepping up into this void here. 43.5 is the over, 44.5 the under, minus 111 on the money line for the Rams, plus 107 for Seattle. Seattle line is plus 1.5. So Andrew, for me, I do believe still with the Los Angeles Rams. I think Seattle is a very good team. The defense is good. I just think the Rams are a tick above, and this is tough. You're asking them now, short week, go there, in-division game. Typically I like the underdog in the in-division game, but I don't know, man. In this instance here, I just feel like this is playoff time, and the Rams are locked in, especially after that loss to Carolina a couple weeks ago. That's it. We know we got to take care of our business. So I'll take the Rams here with the -1. I don't know what your thoughts are, or you could just take them on the money line straight up. It's the same thing here. What's your thoughts?
I'm taking Seattle. The divisional underdogs on Thursday nights all year long, especially at home. I mean, last week, what did we see? Falcons win outright, right? The divisional underdogs have just been so good on Thursday nights, and given that Seattle is playing at home here, I'm taking the Seahawks.
All right. Next up, we have Saturday football, everybody. So Thursday to Saturday now. We have the Philadelphia Eagles, who had their get-right game against the Raiders, pitched a shutout there. They're 5.5-point favorites going to Washington. The best number you can catch there is plus 6.5, 44.5 for the over, 45.5 for the under, plus 240 in the money line for the Commanders for the upset. My anticipation is that Mariota will be under center again. Andrew, any early value in this Saturday contest number 1?
I don't think so. I don't really love this game. Again, another divisional matchup. You have the home underdog catching the points. The Commanders have just been this really volatile team because they are starting different quarterback every single week. And then we know the Eagles, like last week, they came through, but I think a lot of that had to do with the fact they're playing the Raiders, right? So now you have a divisional matchup. So that makes me not feel warm and fuzzy inside. So I think this one's probably going to be a pass for me.
All right. How about Saturday number 2? The Chicago Bears hosting the Green Bay Packers. Bears, 2.5-point favorites at home. -1 is Green Bay. Now they'll be without Micah Parsons the rest of the season. That's a huge loss. Christian Watson also injured. He had a chest injury, went to the hospital, so probably without him. So those are two major pieces they're losing. 45 for the over, 47 for the under, -120 on Green Bay, +115 for Chicago. I gotta tell you, Andrew, I was on the Chicago side last time on this game. I'm gonna be on the Chicago side this time on this game, +2.5. That's where I am.
I think that's the side I agree on too. I think that the Bears might smell blood in the water here, right? With Green Bay down a couple really key pieces, losing Micah Parsons, that's just a brutal blow to a team that had Super Bowl aspirations this year. And he was like the piece that was going to move them and push them over the top. To lose him, Christian Watson, is he going to play in this matchup? And the Bears, we know, are a team that they love to establish the run. They're playing at home. They had a chance to beat the Packers not that long ago, came up just short, but now on their home turf, coming off a big win against the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I think Chicago with the points here. Again, the divisional underdogs at home. Like, this has been a cash cow all season long. Just trust the process here. So going with the Bears.
I'll tell you what, I like a lot of the individual props in that game too on the other side for, again, we'll take a look at weather and some other issues, but when we're talking about losing the pass rusher that is Micah Parsons, right, we're also going to start exposing some of the weaknesses of that defense, which has been the corners, right? We've all said that the Green Bay secondary is not that great. They benefit from pass rush up front, so they don't have to guard anybody that long. You're taking that away with Micah Parsons now in a big way. And I'm going to say, if it's Luther Burden, if it's DJ Moore, if it's Loveland, I'm going to be looking at a lot of those props, even Caleb Williams stuff too, depending on weather as we get closer to that contest.
Their defense too, and to your point, their defense, when they've played on the road, has also been significantly worse than even when Micah Parsons has been in the lineup. So we know that they can be run on, especially because they gave up a lot of that interior defensive tackle depth to go get Micah Parsons in the first place. So I think this is a game where it's like, I would be surprised if we're not going to see this close closer to the Bears. Not maybe not favorites, but I think +2.5. I don't think this is going to be the closing line. I think it's going to be closer to +1.5.
All right, so early value there. On to Sunday. Buffalo Bills coming off a huge road win. That's a couple in a row they're rattling off. Now they get the Cleveland Browns. Schedule really working out for them. They are 9-point favorites in this one on the road, +10.5 you're catching here for the Cleveland Browns. 40.5, for the over, 43.5 for the under, +465 for Cleveland on the money line. You have Myles Garrett chasing the sack record in this one to get Josh Allen. That would be a fun way to tie it, at least, if not get two and have the new winner there. That'd be fun. So any early line value you see on Bills Browns?
Double-digit underdog at home. I will take the Browns +10.5, especially because we know how the Buffalo Bills like to play these games. And that was the thing that was concerning me about watching that Patriots game, right? They're up 21-0. What's the graphic they post on? Patriots, #1 in point differential in the first half. Bills, #1 in point differential in the second half. Like, the Bills thrive when they're behind in the second halves of games. So if I'm betting this game pregame, I'm not touching the Buffalo Bills. I'm touching the Browns here with the double-digit points. Again, their defense plays better at home anyway. And to your point, the Browns are playing for Myles Garrett to get the sack record. Like, that is their point, and Shedeur Sanders to play as well as he can to try to be their quarterback for next season. So we know these games can get gross in Cleveland in December. Not a high-scoring game that I would probably anticipate expecting here. So I like the Browns here at home.
And maybe a bit of a letdown. You know, you get the letdown games too. This was
for Buffalo.
Well, you play Cincinnati, then you play New England, you win both those games. Could be a little bit of a letdown possibly there. All right, let's talk about our sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. If you want to know where I'm betting on sports this holiday season, it's Hard Rock Bet, not just because they're presenting and our sponsor here, but because they make it easy to bet on my favorite teams, the players, the leagues, all in a few simple taps with the For You page. It's all new there, and it recommends picks based on my favorite teams and the players I like to bet on. So I open the app, I go to my For You page. If I find a bet I like, boom, I bet it, and then the bet is placed just in time to get back to wrapping presents and enjoy my favorite Christmas movie. So sign up today at Hard Rock Bet. You place your first $5 bet, you win, you get 150 in bonus bets, plus your winnings as well. Now that's how you spread the holiday cheer, baby. Plus, Hard Rock Bet fills your stocking with new promos every single day. So whenever you're listening, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week over at Hard Rock Bet. Download the app today and make your first deposit. Next up here on the Sunday slate of games in the 1 o'clock hour on the East Coast, you got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Chargers sneaking out with a win. They're up to 10. The Cowboys Sunday night can't be J.J. McCarthy in their own building. Oh, Dallas Cowboy fans. But they're going to be at home here, so they are favored by a point. It's basically a pick 'em. You get +1.5 here for the Chargers, 49.5 for the over, and the under +101 for the Chargers, -109 for the Cowboys. frustrated because I was supporting the Cowboys on Sunday night, and that did not work out, Andrew. So can I learn to love again? I don't know. I'm a little shook right now. I got to be honest with you.
I will take the Chargers. I think that the Cowboys defense still has a ton of problems in their secondary, as we saw against JJ McCarthy. Again, everyone except Justin Jefferson gets a chance to score and eat and be productive, of course, because that's just how things work out. And I will say, too, kind of an under the radar injury was Quinnen Williams. Had a couple head injuries in this game. He has been the anchor of that defense since he was traded for to help stop the run. If he doesn't play in this game, it's going to go back to the Cowboys of the start of the year when you could run all over them. And that's how you can help just take some of the pressure off Justin Herbert and help him protect himself with his hand injury. If they're able to run the football with Omarion Hampton, with Kamani Vidal, I think that's a big loss for the Dallas Cowboys defensively. So right now I'm trying to grab the Chargers because it's a head injury, concussion. Usually guys, unless it's an extended week where we saw with Lamb where he ended up playing because it was on a Thursday, guys don't usually play the next week, especially with the Cowboys. Like, are they out of playoff contention? I think it's basically done for them. Maybe it's not mathematically done for them, but
it's not mathematically done, but it's classic uphill battles where you have too much to happen.
I think they have to win out and then the Eagles have to lose out is essentially what has to happen. So I would lean towards if Quinnen Williams is like 50-50, he's probably not going to end up playing for a team that's not going to make the playoffs anyway. So I would go toward the Charger here because I think that I don't think Dallas is going to close as a favorite here. -1. I like the Chargers.
Okay, so that line could move as well. The Jets and Saints. Saints coming off a victory. They're 3-point favorites. I assume we're going to get Brady Cook again. He was better than I thought he would be. Like, I took a lot of shots at him, but like he scored 20 points. I didn't think they'd score 10. +4.5 on the Jets side of this game. 39.5 for the over. 41.5 for the under. +190 on the money line for the Jets. I like Shuck and the boys at home. Shuck's been, incremental improvement every week is what I've seen from Tyler Shuck. They're at home against the Jets. It's, again, very tough situation here. I do think it will be close, but I actually like New Orleans with the 3 here. Andrew, how about yourself?
I like the Saints here as well. Playing at home, to your point, Tyler Shuck has looked better. And look, he came out of school ready to go because he was 26 years old. So kind of what we saw from Bo Nix.
He's got a 401k. He's got everything set up for himself.
Kind of what we saw from Bo Nix as a rookie, where it didn't take a long time for him to kind of establish himself because he had so much experience at the college level. So although he is a rookie quarterback, he does have a ton of experience. And what do we see from Bo Nix last year is he took care of business against bad teams when they were favorites. So against the New York Jets, who are, again, third string quarterback for the second straight week, they are down a ton of offensive playmakers. The Saints are at home. That's a tough place to play for any quarterback. So I will take Tyler Shuck here as well. I like that there's some value here, especially at -3, which we're seeing as one of the best lines here on the Saints.
All right. So we'll both be on that Saints line here. Let's talk about Tampa and Carolina, man. This is for the division here. 7-7.
Nobody wants to win the NFC South.
God, they really don't. It's appalling at this point. So Carolina is at home. They're 3-point underdogs. Tampa Bay is a favorite on the road, -2.5. 45.5 is the over. 47.5 is the under. -136 for Tampa. +130 for Carolina. I'm just gonna take the over 45.5. Keeping it simple here. That's how my approach is because my faith in either of these teams to get the job done. I should have faith in Tampa at this point. They are a better roster. They just should get it done. But you know what? They should have gotten it done last week, and they should have gotten it done the week before. I thought Mike Evans returning last week would be that special piece that would kind of, nope. So just give me the over, and I'm walking away. How about you?
I also like the over a lot in this game. Carolina Panthers. If it wasn't for Ford Field, it would be Bank of America Stadium. That would be the Coors Field of the NFL where every game goes over the total. So as long as the weather checks out, yes, I like the over here at 45.5 points, which I'm seeing is one of the best lines that you can get on the BettingPros app. I like the Panthers here too, because you know why? Perfect against the spread after a loss. Again, we're always trying to figure out, okay, when do we bet on the Panthers? After they lose. Every single time, like clockwork. That's how you crack. That is the Da Vinci Code when it comes to the Panthers. Did they just lose? Bet on them the next week. Carolina Panthers, give me them on the money line. They're going to win.
I wish the Saints had won a couple more games just so they could be in this thing. I really do. Like, they have a 4-win team. If they could have just snuck out 2 more W's, maybe played Shuck earlier.
They should have been. Yeah, they should have been playing Shuck. Like, what was the point of doing the Spencer Rattler thing in the first place?
Give Shuck a little time to get, his sea legs, I guess. I mean, that's what a lot of organizations think. Well, we're not winning this year, so let's make sure that we give a guy enough time to he's comfortable. So we don't overexpose him, and the next thing you know, he loses his confidence. And they all talk like that too, by the way. Minnesota, New York Giants. So JJ McCarthy's rolling, baby. It's 2 good weeks in a row, and then against the Giants defense, They're 2.5-point favorites on the road, plus 2.5 on the Giants side, 43.5 for the over, 44.5 for the under, minus 130 for the Minnesota Vikings money line, plus 126 for the Giants money line. This is another one where I would just go straight to the over 43.5. There's enough sloppiness here. There's enough points to be had on either side here. Both quarterbacks can run a little bit, make some plays, extend some plays. So I'll take the over 43.5 here.
I agree. I think that's the only way you can play this game. Right? Like, oh, you can't pick sides here because there's so much chaos. There's so much chaos on both sides with both quarterbacks being very volatile in the way that they play. Again, I think the value is probably just take Giants money line straight up. Like, they are the home team. They're inviting a team coming off a big win on prime time, and they are playing outdoors, right? It's a dome team with a couple injuries. We had a couple defensive players go down for the Minnesota Vikings in the game against Dallas. So I think Giants on the money line is probably the value play, but I agree that the over is just the best way to bet it.
Don't forget, best way to bet it is also by downloading the BettingPros app and finding the best line you can find. So make sure for Android, iOS, you have the BP app. You sync your sports books for free, and you can find the best lines anywhere. And you can bet smarter, not harder with the tools, the prop bet cheat sheet, the game picks, the parlays tool. Everything's in there for you. So when you get a 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium, when you download the app today, it's a great time too with college football heating up with the playoffs, NFL playoffs around the corner. You got NBA action going on. Use the promo code JUICE when you sign up, and you get 7 free days. Again, the promo code JUICE to get the premium tools of BettingPros. Next up here, the aforementioned teased game at the top. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tennessee Titans. Both teams eliminated from the playoffs. It's a funny thing to say. Kansas City is 3.5-point favorites on the road in Tennessee. Plus 4.5 is where Tennessee is right now. 37.5 for the over, 38.5 for the under, minus 176 for KC on the money line, plus 172 for Tennessee. I'm going to throw a word out at you because I had some time to think about this a little bit when you threw that at me earlier at the top of the show, Andrew. And the word is pride. Pride. I think the Kansas City Chiefs have enough pride with Gardner Minshew, who, look, this is what Gardner Minshew lives for, right? These moments where he has big energy. If it was another quarterback taking over, I probably would be like, whatever, it's all over. But Gardner Minshew's got that energy. He's got that us against the world thing. The Chiefs have been down. I think the perfect thing they need right now is a good old-fashioned Gardner Minshew road victory, and I think they're going to get it here. So I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs minus 3.5.
I am not going to do that. I'm going to take the Titans here on the money line to win. I think they have more to play for here. They're playing for, hey, we want to put good tape on for our roster going into Cam Ward's second year. Again, they're going to do a total rehaul of the coaching staff, figuring out who the head coach is going to be. But I think the Titans want to play really well in here. It's like, hey, this is the team that went to the Super Bowl. This is the AFC team that we're always trying to beat, trying to match up against. Yes, it's not Patrick Mahomes, but this is still a really good Chiefs defense. Like, how do we stack up? The Titans offense has looked better the last couple games. Tony Pollard has been finally starting to cook, helping everybody in their consolation brackets in fantasy football playoffs. Tony Pollard just going absolutely nuclear. So I like the Titans here to win outright. Plus 170 at the money line. Give me Tennessee.
Wow. That's a crazy thing. It's crazy. I can't get there. I understand why you're there. I just can't get there. Joe Burrow couldn't get there in the worst way on Sunday. What a terrible performance. But at least he owned it. He manned up and he owned it. So one or two things are going to happen this week. Either he has lost his smile and he is going to be, on his way out the door and saying, because earlier in the week was like, I don't know, playing football is fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to play. What's happening here with Joe Burrow? He's in his feelings, right? So one or two things are going to come around. Either he is going to ride off into the sunset because maybe he is just done. Maybe it's like, is it all worth it? Or maybe I'm running off away from Cincinnati. That's also possible. Or Joe Burrow is going to turn around and have a lot of, again, pride and respect for himself. And he's going to go put an absolute ass whooping on the Miami Dolphins in terms of points. I'm going to lean towards the latter, and I'm going to take the over in this game. So the line right now is plus 1.5 on both sides. So it's basically choose your adventure. 49.5 is the over, 50.5 for the under. Bengals defense stinks. Dolphins defense has made it best. Plus 105 for the Bengals money line, minus 108 for the money line of the Miami Dolphins. But I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just going to keep this one simple and take the over here because the defenses stink. And I think Joe Burrow responds to an awful day here for him in the cold. It's going to be much, much better scenario going to Miami to play football.
Yeah, this is a vacation spot for the Cincinnati Bengals. Right? We get to go to Miami. We get to play really bad defense on a short week. So I like buying back into the Bengals offense here to bounce back. I don't think Joe Burrow wants to go out on a note like he did against the Baltimore Ravens where they just get shut out. People are questioning his, okay, is this fun for you anymore? Do you keep on playing football? I think that he still loves playing football and he still wants it to be fun. And you know what's fun? Throwing touchdowns in 75-degree weather against a really bad Dolphins defense. So that sounds pretty fun to me, Joe. So I'm going to go with Joe Burrow here as well, taking the over. I think maybe this line gets a little bit more, I think it moves probably towards Cincinnati after the Miami Dolphins play the Steelers on Monday night. I don't love the Dolphins here on the road at Pittsburgh, playing outdoors in the cold weather. Don't love that for Miami. But to your point, again, going back at home where the Dolphins offense plays better, I think that we see points.
Yeah, points for sure. That's the one thing I think we see for sure. Atlanta at Arizona. The next game here, -1.5. Atlanta on the road favorites, +2.5 for Arizona. Jacoby Brissett, look, tough situation for him this past weekend, but he responded. He, keeps putting up points, keeps doing what he can. Very impressive against that Texans defense, which is just so good. So I thought it was going to be much worse than it even was. 45 for the over, 46.5 for the under, -120 on the money line for Atlanta, +119 for Arizona. I'll keep this simple. You can have this game. You can stick this one where the sun don't shine. I want nothing to do with it. Andrew, 4 outcomes abound in this one, and I want none of them to wager on.
Yes, I would agree. I don't know if you can have any faith picking sides here. I think I would probably just lean towards the over. It's indoors, it's in a dome. It's two quarterbacks that, the Arizona Cardinals can't stop the run. They can't stop any type of running back. Who had a big game against them? Jawar Jordan, Houston Texans guy that I didn't even know was on the roster. Woody Marks gets hurt. Jawar Jordan comes in, rushes for over 100 yards. What do you think Bijan Robinson is going to do against this Arizona Cardinals defense? Yeah. So he could have a monster game. And we know Jacoby Brissett, dude, all this guy, he wills his way to games going over the total. Just, it doesn't matter who they're playing. He is, I can't believe we're saying this, but he's the closest thing we've seen to Jameis Winston, right? When it doesn't matter who they're playing, they just come in.
Less picks.
Exactly. It's almost like if you just threw more interceptions, he would be Jameis Winston, but so many dropbacks, doesn't even need Marvin Harrison Jr., just getting it done with Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, can't stop scoring touchdowns since Kyler Murray was removed from the quarterback position in Arizona. So I like the over here, especially indoors in the dome in Arizona.
All right. The Jaguars couldn't stop scoring on Sunday, as we predicted. +3.5 point favorites. Underdogs on the road against the Denver Broncos, -2.5. 44.5 for the over, 46.5 for the under, +146 on the money line for the Jags, -154. I'll be honest with you, I like the Jaguars here to cover the 3.5. The Jaguars play tight. They're on a roll. I think they're feeling confident. Denver does the same thing. They kind of sleepwalk through the first half of the game, and then Bo Nix has to flip the switch and pull it out there. And that's enough for me to keep this game close. So I'll take the 3.5 here with the Jags. How about you, Andrew?
I think I like the 3.5 too. I like it at that number where, okay, it's within a field goal. Okay, you can get bailed out even if they don't end up winning the game. We know it's going to be tight. Again, two of the AFC powerhouses. Again, this is for number 1 seed, right? It's kind of like a 3-man race between the Broncos, the Jaguars, and the Patriots, who are all kind of vying for that number 1 seed in the AFC. And that's a big deal because that team gets a bye week, gets a freebie in the first round of the playoffs. So this game is absolutely massive. And Trevor Lawrence has played so well for the last, basically since they got Jacoby Myers. Who knew, right? Like, he is the guy to unlock this entire offense. Their defense creates a ton of turnovers. Josh Hines Allen is creating havoc up front as a pass rusher. So I like the Jags as well. You just look at what the Jaguars have done, especially playing on the road. The last time that they lost on the road, I think, or one of their bigger upsets was when they lost to the Texans, right? But they were winning that game, and it took this Texans crazy comeback with Davis Mills for them to come back and win that game. Obviously, the Jaguars have really rebounded since that big loss, but they've shown, hey, we can play at a high level, even on the road against really tough defenses. So yes, the Broncos are always a tough draw for any quarterback, but the way Trevor Lawrence is playing, I think that they're live here to win outright. So I like the Jags as well, catching 3.5.
All right, next up here, Las Vegas Raiders going against the Houston Texans. Oh, what a tough stretch this is. They get shut out in Philly, and now they're going to go play Houston in Houston. Yikes. Houston's 12-point favorites at home. You're catching +15 for the Las Vegas Raiders. In some other spots, over 37.5, under 38.5, +940 for the upset. I do not like the upset here. I will say this about the Houston Texans game. I think this 12 is safe. I think the ineptitude of the Las Vegas Raiders, I think the exemplary play of this Houston Texans defense, and I think they're the most dangerous team in the AFC. You do not want to play them in a first-round playoff. I'm telling you right now. Just as the Chargers last year, it happened to them too. And now the offense is starting to get right a little bit too. Offense starting to look good, much better. So I'm going to have to go ahead and take the 12 with Houston. I know that's unpopular with the big numbers, but that's how good I feel about it.
If it's Raiders +15, I will be on the Raiders side here because this is a close your eye special, right? Teams catching, teams got blown out. And this would be the second week in a row that the Arizona or the Houston Texans have played a team that was eligible for the close your eye special. So last week, Arizona didn't come. So just like looking at the aggregate, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's very just unlikely that a Houston Texans team can cover the spread this big in back-to-back weeks against teams that qualify for the close your eye special. So I'm not saying that this is going to be, the Raiders are going to keep this competitive, but I think when we look up, it's going to be the Texans win by 2 touchdowns. And that means the Raiders cover the plus 15. So I will take the Raiders at whatever the biggest line we can get. So you can probably wait as long as possible because this will probably move to Texans minus 17.
Yeah, if you like Houston like me, you can jump on it now.
Yes.
Because this is definitely going to get to 14.5 at some point. All right, Detroit hosting Pittsburgh. We'll see what the Steelers do on Monday night. They are 7.5-point underdogs to go to Detroit and minus 6.5-point favorites. 49.5 for the over, 50.5 for the under, plus 307 for the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat Detroit in Detroit. Detroit's reeling a little bit too. They need a W in the worst way. Your thoughts on this one, Andrew, of Pittsburgh-Detroit?
Where's this game being played, Joe?
It's in Detroit, my friend.
So I like the over.
There you go.
Next game.
I knew it. Next game. All right. Next one here. Night game. Our New England Patriots taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Plus 2.5 for the Pats. Minus 2.5 for Baltimore. I just think this line is wrong. Like, just wrong. Especially after that loss. Look, Patriots won 10 games in a row. They were up. Part of a young team that's new to winning here is learning how to win with a lead. Usually you're in these competitive games when you have a big lead and you keep your foot on the gas there a little bit. Patriots haven't learned to do that, and it caught them in the ass on Sunday. So that's a good learning experience for them. And I think the perfect timing here is to go play the Baltimore Ravens, where there's no letdown, no waiting to mope and think about it. You got to play the Ravens now. And the Ravens defense is not good, and the Ravens are incredibly beatable. Look, the Cincinnati Bengals are horrible. Let us not think that the Ravens were great on Sunday, okay? Joe Burrow was terrible, and that game was sluggish, to say the least, especially in the first half. They are 2.5-point favorites, Baltimore. I think this line's wrong. I'll take New England. 47.5 for the over, 48.5 for the under, plus 130 on the money line for the New England Patriots. I'll just take them up straight money line, plus 130 upset special of the week. There it is. I said it.
I will take the over. To your point, you didn't necessarily say great things about either defenses. The Patriots, like one of the biggest things in that game against the Bills, what did they do? Terribly. Could not stop Buffalo in the red zone. Buffalo scored a touchdown every single time they got in the red zone. That's been one of the biggest problems with the Patriots all year long is their red zone defense has been terrible. It hasn't showed up against some of the worser offenses that they have faced because they just haven't had as many red zone opportunities. But when teams get inside the 20, like they're scoring touchdowns against the Patriots. So that lends itself to more game totals going over. I'm just really interested to see how the Pats respond. Again, after a loss, emotional game against the Buffalo Bills. It was a t-shirt hat games, like, we're going to win the division, and they didn't get that. That didn't end up happening.
Learning how to win.
So, yeah. Young team. So I hope that they respond well here. Again, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for them to go through some adversity. Again, you don't want to be entering the playoffs on a 14-game winning streak. That's just, asking.
No,
that is, yeah.
Here you go. Here's the Houston Texans round one.
Yeah, like,
congratulations on winning those 14 games in a row. So, you don't want to be there.
So to your point, I think that in the overall grand scheme of things, it's probably good that they dropped a game here. But I want to see them respond in a big way against the Ravens. So I think that, especially with Drake May, I want this offense to play better and score some points against the Ravens defense, like you said, not super, super impressive.
All right, Monday Night Football, San Francisco, Indianapolis, San Fran 5-point favorites, Indy 5.5 plus side at home, 46 for the over, 46.5 for the under. You get plus 225 for the money line. This is another game too where is Phil Rivers going to play again? Should he play again? I don't know, but I don't have enough information to make a good judgment call on this game yet.
I'm taking the 49ers here. I think you're getting some value of them playing on the road when, is this line suggesting that like Philip Rivers is like, he's so back, right? Like, I don't think that he was really the point of that Colts Seahawks game. It was the Colts defense, right? That just made it so like, I think that he was fine. Like he looked like a 44-year-old quarterback that had a good arm, but could not move within the pocket. I wouldn't have really been surprised if that exact box score was the game, if Daniel Jones had started that game, where like the Colts offense doesn't look great against Seattle. Seattle's a tough place to play. I think the matchup is obviously better for the Colts offense, but I don't think the Colts offense was any reason why they hung around with Seattle. It's because their defense played lights out against Sam Darnold, and I don't expect that to be the case with Brock Purdy and all of his weapons with the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan and the Death Star playing inside. I think this is too much offensive firepower for the 49ers to only be laying 5 points. So I will take the 49ers here, regardless of whoever starts at quarterback for Indy.
All All right, so there you have it, everybody. You can follow us on BettingPros when you download the app and track all of our bets along with yours. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel here, BettingPros YouTube. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Andrew Erickson, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.